everyone, and welcome to the Ice Forum in Champlin for CTN's coverage of the Section 5 AA Boys Hockey Quarterfinals. This evening, it's the number 3 seed Blaine Bengals against the number 6 seed Coon Rapids Cardinals. Joe Young and Howie Shapiro here with the action, and Howie, very exciting this time of year.
No question about it. Totally different atmosphere when it comes to section times. Plus, a little exciting, you're playing on the big sheet ice right behind us.
Well, the Cardinals come in as the number 6 seed. They did lose handily to the Bengals during the regular season. We'll get much more into that as the broadcast goes along. But they're coming in playing some pretty good hockey, even though they came up off a couple of losses. Just 1-goal losses down the stretch here the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think Coach really likes the makeup of this team coming in, even though you're looking at their wins column 6 on the season. Likes where the guys are playing, likes the hustle, and they know coming in here, they have an opportunity to get a win here.
Well, they almost had a win in their final regular season game over Anoka that would have made them maybe a 4 seed in this tournament. They lose instead, and they end up with the number 6 seed. A matchup with the Bengals, a matchup that typically favors the Blaine Bengals, especially over the last handful of years. But the Cardinals really let one get away from them earlier in the season, and that was due to a lot of penalties. And again, we'll talk about that much more as we move along through the broadcast. Let's take a look at the brackets for the tournament. Centennial, the number 1 seed, will get number 8 seed Osseo in the quarterfinals. Anoka ends up the number 5 with Champlain Park just ahead of them as the number 4. They face off tonight over at the Crick. Blaine and Coon Rapids, and then Maple Grove, the number 2 seed, will take on Spring Lake Park. So the Cardinals really feel that they have an opportunity here. If they can stay on their game, stay out of the penalty box, to give a run at these Blaine Bengals. Key for the Cardinals all season long has been their number 1 line. It includes their 2 leading goal scorers, but also the third part of that team, which leads the team in assists.
That's Robert Morissette, 5 goals, 12 assists. He really is the guy that sets the other 2 scorers up, and he works hard. He makes sure he gets after that puck, and he really is a good player on the ice in terms of setting up opportunities for other players.
On the flip side, the Blaine Bengals, once again led by a Brodzinski, just a sophomore with 40 points on the season, but it's their senior that really, again, is the influence on the team.
Yeah, it's Lincoln earned 5 goals, 26 assists, and Coach Carroll told me, he says, as he goes, that's how we go. So when he plays well, he's solid. He's a leader on the ice. He also makes sure that his teammates are set up in the right responsibility, especially on special teams. So as he goes, Blaine will go.
And the Blaine Bengals benefited from 6 power play goals the first time these 2 teams met. Will they have similar success in the playoffs? Only time will tell. The puck drops on the Section 5 AA quarterfinal between the Cardinals and the Bengals right after this on CTN.
Your son wants to get a cat, but you're allergic. Do you A, prepare yourself, B, make the best of it,
C squared equals
25.
Good job.
or C, find a loophole? When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Back at the Ice Forum in Champlin, just about ready to get the playoffs underway. Puck dropping on the quarterfinals of Section 5 AA. Quick look at your starters. For the number 6 seeded Cardinals, Travis Hess between Isaac Bruff and Robert Morissette. Brad Crotty and Zach Thompson on the blue line. Ty Hansen, the netminder. For the Bengals, Will Hillman between Mick Reinerson and Max Bouch. Dylan Ron and Lincoln Earn are the defensemen. Joe Daninger, the starting keeper.
You know, this has kind of been an up-and-down season really for both squads, and surprisingly so sometimes for Blaine. They lost 14 starters from a season ago, so it's talk about rebuilding and replacement, and Coach Carroll said the guys are finally learning the opportunities.
There's a look at the starting keeper for Blaine. Joe Daninger, 12 wins, a 3.42 goals against, just over 89% saves. Ty Hansen at the other end for the Cardinals. There, his number is quick. And this game is underway. Coon Rapids able to push the puck deep into the Blaine end. and want to be able to provide some pressure. A quick chance for Ruff out front, and it may have been partially deflected. Ended up going wide, held at the line by Crotty, poked out and down into the Coon Rapids end. Zach Thompson, first one there for the Cardinals. Behind his own net, slows, now continues, plays off the boards. Ruff makes sure it clears to center. Earn with it for the Bengals. He'll just chip it in and head to the bench as Thompson retreats in his own end. Behind the net for Crotty. Crotty, long pass, doesn't find anyone. That'll be icing and a face-off back to the Coon Rapids end. And not a terrible whistle. A decent first shift for the first line. Created one little look. Pass didn't quite click, but kept the pressure at that end.
There's head coach Steve Moe. Feels that, if they can play 5-on-5 hockey tonight, they have an opportunity. We talked about the fact staying out of the box is so important for them this evening.
Yeah, a couple of major penalties taken the first time they played the Bengals, and 6 power play goals by Blaine.
Yeah, you definitely can't give that up, especially in a section game, obviously, if you want to try and advance. Head coach Chris Carroll, his 3rd season behind the bench for the Bengals, and he felt that they really have to execute their structure, especially on defense. They have to play strong defense tonight to get this win.
Pass through the middle, deflected off the skate of Bouch into the corner. Cardinals recover. Van Holzen's pass, and Pieri got tripped up. Puck ends up and out of play. And we'll face it off again in the Coon Rapids end just over 2 minutes into the game.
Yeah,
1 minute.
You talked about the fact 6 power play goes, a 7-2 loss earlier this season to the Bengals, and Coach Moe said we need to put it behind us. That's the only thing I could say is just take away some of the things that we liked and continue to work.
Bengals able to win the draw. Bouch sends it around to the far corner. Tied up there between Morissette and Hillman. Poked to the line. Fired toward the net, but into the near corner. Ruff, first one there. Plays it to center off the stick of Morissette and turned around by Hillman. Bumped off it by Hess. Battle continues. Forced into the Cardinal end. Bouch with it into the corner. Centers tipped away. An opportunity is shot. And a big save for Ty Hansen. He bobbled it at first, but able to reach behind him and keep that puck from crossing the line and keep this game scoreless.
Well, Joe, you talk about it all the time. You can't win games by your goalie, but you can stay in them. And again, a nice opportunity from Ty Hansen. First shot, able to flips a little bit behind him, but able to grab the puck, make sure it didn't go across the line.
Well, it was a good deflection by Ruff defending in the slot, but it went right to Bruce, and Bruce a quick shot that nearly snuck past Hansen. And now Blaine providing some pressure off the face-off. Cardinals able to force it to center. Tyler George forces it around. Daninger behind his own net, bumped by George behind the net. Blaine able to recover. Earn flips it on a backhand up through center, right on the stick of Stetzel. Stetzel, snapshot turned away by the stick of Ty Hansen. Earn will push it back into the corner. Crotty able to poke it free. Recover for Coon Rapids. Cuts in front of his net. It's tipped off his stick. And a quick shot in close that Hansen holds on to.
Yeah.
And that is why you don't dance in front of your own net. The puck knocked off of a Cardinal stick by another Cardinal skate and right to a Blaine player.
Well, yeah, and especially in this part of the ice, you cannot afford to give it up in your defensive end as it is, let alone right in on the goaltender. But Ty Hansen comes up with the save. Fortunately,
Hansen staying focused on the little black biscuit that is his responsibility. Michael Crosby flips it in deep for the Cardinals. First one there is Jordan Sinner, who swings it around, kept in at the far side by Ammon momentarily. Now brought through center and into the zone by Vold. Plays it around behind off the end boards. Bruce will send it back in and around to the far side where Sinner plays it in on Hansen. Soft recovery by Crotty. Plays it ahead to Pieri, and Pieri knocked down but able to stay with the puck and push it into the corner where Crosby recovers. Hands it back to him. Pieri lost the handle as he tried to step out front.
A nice little feed in front of the net. Just couldn't keep control of the puck.
Dump attempt by Crotty was knocked down and brought out to center by Bruce. Crotty able to break it up and send it back in to the Bengal end. Sinner cross in front of his net for Bruce. Up the near board for Nate Olson, and Olson will play it into the Cardinal end. First one there is Vold. Vold looks, tries to center. Taken away by Thompson. Snapshot by Thompson, blocker, save, rebound bouncing, and now played into the corner. Reinerson plays it off the boards out to center. Hess there for the Cardinals to take it away, way back into his own end, then off the board, all the way down. That pass behind Isaac Ruff, and it'll be icing. 13:09 to play. Period one.
An opportunity here for Coon Rapids. Daniger gets a piece of that puck, but Cardinals can't get a stick on it to try and get a rebound shot past him. You talk about rebuilding in youth, and Daniger, just a sophomore, Joe, starting in net for the Bengals.
Face-off win, earned the shot, pad save by Hansen, covered in a corner by Bouch. Out to Earn, another snapshot, blocker save by Hansen. Bouch sends it up the boards. That was slowed and now chipped to center all the way down, and icing called against the Cardinals again.
The Bengals trying to pick up that pressure a little bit down in the Cardinal end, and that's what they like to do. They like to pressure you. They like to put constant shots on net if possible.
Another face-off win by the Bengals. Ernie through traffic. Hansen put a blocker on it, though it was going wide. Ammon comes away with a steal and able to get it ahead and off the stick of Crosby. Earn trying to turn it around to Bouch on the near boards. Plays it for Hillman, who will carry in. Hillman waiting. Shoots, kick save up into the netting. Out of play, another face-off in the Cardinal end.
Will Hillman, second leading scorer on this club. Again, two leading scorers are both sophomores. So they've got a lot of opportunities with the youth here. We talked about Daniger being a sophomore. So
Brodzinski.
And Brodzinski as well, being a sophomore. The two leading scorers on this club.
Crotty kicks it to himself and carries behind his own net. Stops, reverses course for Peary. Hands off. Colton Ryan plays it up the boards. Held there momentarily. And now forced to center. And here's Crosby coming in one-on-one, but can't get through the skates of Jordan Center. Peary holds it along the boards. Now played behind the net where Bruce looks up ice. Gets it ahead for Chester. Chester will play it in deep. Crotty recovers behind his own net, sandwiched between a couple of Bengals, but comes away with the puck. Still able to turn away from Stetzel along the end boards. Plays it ahead, tipped by Ryan, and now unable to keep it in the zone. Both teams' official district rosters, by the way, which they want you to pay money for, are not accurate.
Not complete. I saw you writing some players down. Obviously, they're not
number
on that.
23. Apparently, they don't want to put number 23 on the roster for Blaine or number 28, Caden Anderson, on the roster for the Cardinals. For a second there, I thought it was number 23 on both sides, but that was not the case.
Are you going to say somebody had some bad feelings toward somebody who wears number 23?
I don't know. Or it felt very protective of the number, perhaps.
Michael Jordan.
Poked at by Ammon. It skips over the stick of Ron and all the way to the Cardinal end. Morissette, first one there, centers off the skate of Hess. And Hess will circle recover off the boards. Flips it toward the net. And holding on is Daniger.
Again, that relatively easy save for Daniger, right into the midsection. Cardinals, just a couple of shots on goal. They didn't give him a shot on goal for that. They're 2 shots on goal, 6 for the Bengals so far early on.
Well, and very few offensive zone faceoffs for the Cardinals.
Yep.
This one flipped in the air, knocked down by Ruff. Still loose, trickling higher in the slot, now taken away by Reinerson. Across the line, 2-on-1, a shot and a blocker save by Hansen. Off the near boards, shot back into the corner where Reinerson can try and center again. Reaching back for it, Bouch has it, backhand up over the net. Bouch in the far corner, out to the point for Bruce, a shot. Save made and a good sweep with the stick by Hansen to keep the rebound away from Max Reinerson, who was trying to come across the goal mouth with it.
Yeah, Hansen's come up with a couple of nice saves here so far early on tonight, and the Cardinals definitely are going to need him to play strong in nets.
Knapp plays it in deep for the Cardinals. Bruce first one there. Slowed and taken away by George. Turns and shoots. That's blocked by Bruce. Bengals come to center. Bouch will fire it, and it'll end up in the far corner. Fish delivers a big hit, protecting the check, the puck. And he took Stone Stetzel out pretty good. Turnover right at the line, an opportunity turned away by Ty Hansen. Ullman.
Oh, big hit in the corner.
Came in after a big turnover. Earn plays it to the far corner, and the Bengals are going to get a power play. Contact away from the puck out front, and this is going to be interference with 9:02 left in the first.
No, but we'll see how their penalty kill unit holds up against this strong power play unit from Blaine. We talked about 6 of those 7 goals power plays last time these two teams met.
You see the contact there, pretty easy to call.
Yep.
Drew Erickson getting the interference call, also not on the official program.
He's on yours, though.
That they want to
charge you $1 for.
Shot through traffic, deflected, and at the back door, an opportunity hit the side of the net for Steve West. Earned, walking, winds, fires, save made, and holding on is Hansen for a faceoff.
Oh, Hansen coming out quick like a cat from that net to pounce on that puck. There you see the shot from out front. Bengal camped in front of the net, but Ty Hansen makes sure that he grabbed that puck.
West pokes it to Bouch. Out of the reach of Brodzinski to Earn at the point. Earn will skate it towards center. Cross to the back door, deflected away by Van Holzen. West gives it to Brodzinski. Brodzinski up top for Earn. Back to Brodzinski, walking in, and shot deflected up and out of play. And we had a whistle before that, I believe, for a man in the crease, perhaps. Referee is discussing something down in the corner. Faceoff is going to come outside the zone, so man in the crease, I'm going to have to guess is the call. Blaine power play continues. 1:10 remaining in the advantage for the Bengals. No score, 8:11 remaining in the first period. Section 5 AA quarterfinal. West turns with it along the midboard, up top for Earn. Earn walks to center. Walking in, West looking back door, skipped away from Hillman. Earn shoots, save made, and it trickles through and into the net. And the Bengals on the board on the power play.
Again, you push enough at the net, something's going to get by. That time, the big shot from Earn out front got past Hansen, and the Bengals are going to start the scoring here with 7:48 remaining in the first period. That was a nice job to get that goal. We'll see it again. The pressure
Bouch
from outside.
Get a piece of it out front?
I can't tell.
I'm not sure, but it just trickled across.
Yeah.
Snuck through the pads on Hansen and had just enough to get across the goal line before Van Holzen was able to get a stick in there and sweep it away.
Already 12 shots on goal by the Bengals here first period. We're 7.5 minutes left.
And a very quick next penalty for the Cardinals cannot please Coach Steve Moe.
Now this is it's exactly what we talked about in terms of how the Cardinals are going to get into a little bit of trouble, and it's they needed to stay out of the box. You saw the successful power play opportunity on that first chance. Now, just after that goal, shortly after the goal, they're going to go on the power play yet again.
Another power play opportunity. The Bengals 1 for 1 on the power play at 4-5 power play shots. They work it down low. Botch all the way up top to Earn. Right side, Brodzinski is shot that hits the side of the cage. Left there, Bouch trying to come out front. Poked away, recovered by Brodzinski. Spins to the corner. Trying to leave it off for West. West will carry down along the end. Boards back to Brodzinski in the corner. Up top for Earn. Brodzinski, top of the circles, walking in, backdoor. Hillman is shot off the side of the post and back into the corner where he's tied up with Thompson. Hillman comes away with it out to Earn at the point, back to Hillman. Looks over his options, back to Earn. Hillman walking in, wants to go backdoor. It kind of handcuffed Brodzinski as he got in on his backhand a bit. Earn down low for West. West tried to go across the crease. It was blocked by Lackinen. Back in the corner with it is West. Up top for Earn. Winds, fires, broken stick. Chance at a goal for Hillman.
Well, you stay with it. And again, you push enough at the net. That broken stick, they didn't need to grab another stick at that point because they scored quickly.
Well, off of the broken stick that just kind of trickled, but it went right to Hillman, who was creeping in from that right circle, and just no chance for Hansen to react when that, I think, it was also blocked by the Cardinal defender as well. It's Wyatt Ball, yet another not on the roster.
You're going to run out of space.
This roster's just not very good, apparently.
You'll have to give your review on Yelp after the game.
You want me to play for this? So back to 5-on-5 hockey, 6:19 to play, and now the Cardinals in a sticky situation, and the Bengals with a ton of momentum. Poked into the zone, Olsen centers, bounces through to the far side. He's able to get it back to the point now. Shot through traffic and now into the near corner. Stetzel sends it back in deep. Crotty will recover for the Cardinals in the far corner. He's hooked, and now the Cardinals will have an opportunity on the power play. This is icing. But the Bengals going to go to the box here with 5:55 left.
And again, this is an opportunity for the Cardinals to try and cut this lead in half if they can by having the skater advantage.
Nate Olsen called for the hook.
See it again come up here.
Off the face-off, Morissette pushes to the corner. Cardinals an opportunity to establish position and possession. Hess and Morissette play with it behind the line. Up top for Tyler George. Along the boards. Hess will go back in deep around behind the net. Trying to sneak it back door. Morissette fanned on a bouncing puck, still loose. Wrap attempt isn't going to get out as George stops it up. He'll play it in deep. And then fired around the other way by Ron and held there by Thompson. Hess pokes at it. Ron gets it and now will send it the length of the ice. Hansen will leave it there for Tyler George to take behind the net.
Cardinals looking for some kind of production here on their power play, and they have to get a shot on goal.
Hess around behind. Down low. Ruff circles back, hands off for Hess again. Ruff in the corner to Hess behind.
Morissette trying to find a little space in front of the net.
George able to hold it along the near board. Has it again, snaps his shot in, and Hess was trying to tip, but tracked right into the midsection of Joe Danninger.
Yeah, Danninger smartly keeps that puck tucked away. You'll see it again here as George gets a shot on net. Danninger disclosing the pads, making sure he cradled that puck.
Off the draw, Earn recovers in the corner all the way down to Hansen. We'll leave it there for Max Ammon. Ryan's cross-ice pass is deflected and now taken away by Hillman. Hillman stops up, now sweeps it in deep. Hammond taken into the boards from behind by Bouch, and Bouch could be in for a long trip to the sin bin.
Yeah, if that's the case.
Right as the first penalty is expiring, he's calling him for a cross check.
Yeah, just 2 minutes. I think it's
Bouch,
just 2 minutes.
yeah, it's just going to be 2 minutes,
Yep.
and Bouch is shaking his head. Okay, I guess I can take 2. But just took him in a bad spot in a weird angle, and fortunate to it's only a 2-minute penalty for the Bengals. Cardinals just one shot on that power play, though, and that has to be of concern again to the Cardinal coaching staff. Off the draw, shot from the point by Lackinen, knocked down into the far corner by Ron. Cardinals able to recover. Ryan to Peary. Ryan will walk out of the corner. His shot is blocked back into the corner where Ryan recovers, trying to settle a bouncing puck. And now moves it to Michael Crosby. Crosby down low. Up top it comes to Lackinen. Lackinen trying to pass back through that slot, and West knocked the puck down. Fired around far side. Crosby able to keep it in. And here's Ryan at the top of the circles. Another penalty coming against the Bengals. Cardinals going to have a long time on the 5-on-3 as we've got a slash going against Blaine.
Well, this is the break that the Cardinals are looking for, Joe. They've got a now 2-skater advantage for 1:18, and they really need to make something happen. They're down 2-0. Bengals are outplaying them just a couple of shots on net. And they need to try and provide some sort of spark, some sort of firepower here if they want to stay with the Bengals.
Bryce Brodzinski called for the slash. He will join Max Bouch in the penalty box, and it's a 5-on-3 for the Cardinals. Loose puck came out, and it was poked away beautifully on a diving attempt by Will Hillman.
He was scratching and clawing to get to that one.
Ruff will carry in deep, trying to center, deflect it up and over into the far corner where Morissette has it. To the top of the slot. Thompson walking, shoots. Saved and covered up by Danninger.
Not a real effective shot on net, but gets Danninger to make sure he brings it in.
George plays this one back into the corner. Hess has it. Back out to Tyler George up top. Top of the circle with it is Morissette. Backs away. Now walks down to the hash marks. Hess back to Morissette. Tried to snap it at net. And not a lot on that as Danninger covers up.
Well, with the couple extra skaters, he has to cover up because there are more red jerseys in front of the net than there are white ones. He's going to try and feed that inside. It just kind of slowly rolls to him.
Off the draw, Crosby out to Ammon, across to Lackinen. Lackinen shoots, it was deflected, ends up in the far corner. Ammon will stop it up at the far side blue line. Ammon to Lackinen, back to Ammon up at the top of the key. Crosby, low angle shot, turned away by Danninger, and the Bengals able to clear it all the way down.
Yeah, just a short time left on that 2-skater advantage.
10 seconds remaining on the penalty to Bouch that gives the Cardinals that 5-on-3. And Bouch is out of the box. Lackinen across. Ammon through traffic, missed the net, ends up coming back out to Lackinen at the near side point. Walking to the middle, hands back on the boards to Crosby, back to Lackinen. Tried to shoot through traffic, it was blocked. He's able to get it back. That attempt blocked as well. Puck just bouncing around and in the back of the net. I'm not sure how it got there, but the Cardinals able to force one home on the power play and cut the lead in half.
Well, how big was that goal? They needed that. They just needed that to try and grab a small portion of the momentum back from this Blaine Bengals hockey squad, and they have done that by getting that goal. I'm not sure who they even would give that to.
I don't know. This one was bouncing around and in a weird spot. It was Crosby.
There it is again.
It was Lackinen who was kind of carrying it with him as he spun around. I'm not sure if it was Colton Ryan that got to it or
Lackinen.
Either way, a power play goal for the Cardinals makes it a 2-1 lead for the Bengals as we approach the final minute here in the first. Long pass to Morissette, gets into the zone, losing the handle a little bit, and then taken into the board softly by Dylan Rahn. Played up the boards, Hess able to stop it up, taken away by Hillman. The Bengals charge to center with numbers. Slowed by Van Holzen, who pokes it free. Morissette with it. He's leaned on by Hillman, taken away by Rahn. Rahn into the Cardinals zone, and Botch just a little bit too eager. Got in a step early.
Well, how much is that goal for the confidence of the Cardinals squad? Just 4 shots on net.
Enormous. Well, yeah. I think the shot keeper fell asleep at the wheel.
I think you did. I think you're right.
A fair amount. I have the Cardinals with 4 shots on the power play, and I only gave them 1 for that last one because it ended up in the net.
So it may be 6. Maybe 6 shots on net.
Either way, not an offensive explosion.
No.
Opportunity bounced off the skate for Tyler George, played away by Bruce. Bengals able to chip it to center. Brodzinski working down the wing, passes out front, broken up. Bruce, the shot turned away by Hansen. And George will carry along behind the net. Trying to spin away from the pressure. Brodzinski stays with him, played across to Knapp, skipped off his stick. He's able to force his way out to center before it's turned back in by Olsen. And the buzzer will sound, taking us to the end of the first period. Bengals a pair of power play goals. The Cardinals' advantage responds late in the frame. And we've got a 1-goal game after 1. We'll take a break, get some coach reaction after this on CTN.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to the Champlin Ice Forum, where you're watching CTN's presentation of Section 5AA Boys High School Hockey Playoffs. The score is 2-1 in favor of the Bengals. I'm here with head coach Steve Moe. Coach, we talked about 5-on-5 hockey and how important it was for you. A couple of power play goals scored in that first period, and then a little bit of momentum back in your corner with that power play goal of your own.
Yeah, obviously, all 3 goals scored are power play goals. It's not a game that we want to get into, the special teams game. I think that favors them. But a little bit of confidence after that goal. Hopefully it gives us some ability 5-on-5 to put a little pressure on them.
10 shots on goal, so you're generating some pressure. What do you guys do in the second here to pick it up a little bit and try to even it up or take the lead?
A lot of it, I think, in our forecheck, our second, third forward in the zone are getting a little low. We don't ever want to get lower than their wings, so if we can anticipate that play and stay there, I think we can create some turnovers, put the pressure back down low on them, and see if they can't break it out. That's going to be our goal going into the second period.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second. We're going to take a quick break and be back with stats and highlights from the first period.
Did you know parking over tall, dry grass can spark a wildfire? prevent wildfires.
Back at the Champlain Ice Forum, first intermission of this Section 5 AA quarterfinal, and we've got a pressure cooker that's all been done on the power play. Blaine Bengals taking advantage early of their man advantage. First one just barely slipping through the pads and getting across enough, and then another one off a broken stick by Earn, and hopping on it was Hillman and snapping it home. All three goals really power play goals, but all kind of weird and funny goals. This one, I've watched it I don't know how many times, and I'm not sure how it ended up in the back of the net. And now that look, I'm thinking it definitely was Colton Ryan, as he was himself below the goal line, right, still able to knock it off the goalie and in.
And I didn't know I couldn't hear who they announced the goal scorer was, but nonetheless, there you see the stats from that first period. 15 shots on goal for the Bengals, 10 for the Cardinals. And as you mentioned, it's special teams ruled the night. Power play opportunities for both squads. Able to get one goal from the Cardinals, 2 goals for the Bengals, and that's where we sit after one period of play. But the Cardinals have to feel pretty good about the momentum, a little bit of momentum they grabbed by getting that late goal in the first period.
Well, a lot more hockey left. The Cardinals and the Bengals take the ice for period number 2 next on CTN.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Just about ready to get the second period underway here at the Ice Forum. It was an interesting first 17. A little rough. Yeah. A little ebb and flow due to the penalties, because we had 2 Cardinal penalties and 2 Bengal goals, and then we had 3 Bengal penalties and 1 Cardinal goal.
Well, the Bengals really controlled the action for most of that first period, but the Cardinals did a good job later in that period to get a little pressure in on the
Well, and again, as we talked about in the intermission, looking at the replays, all 3 goals were just kind of weird.
Yep.
Now, the Cardinals especially just bounced weird. The first Bengal goal just barely trickled across the line. The second one was off a broken stick, a shot with a broken stick that was deflected and went right to another player who had a good look at the net. Not to take anything away from Hillman's reaction to play that behind Hansen, but just kind of weird bounces on all 3 goals. And all 3, again, scored on the power play.
Sometimes you see those funny bounces, and sometimes those funny bounces can find the back of the net, as witnessed tonight. It really keeps your goaltender on his toes.
Bengals off the draw, able to control. Hillman will skate to center. Hillman into the zone, trying to get around Van Holzen, and does as he carries behind the net. Troubled by Ryan, plays it out to the point. Shot through traffic, turned away by Hansen. Long cross-ice pass. Skips off the stick of Michael Crosby. He tracks it down in the corner. Is bumped by Ron off the puck. Earn recovers in the far corner. Moves ahead to Bouch, and now Hillman to center. Hillman into the Coon Rapids end. Tried to toe drag, fanned on it. An opportunity goes wide for Ryerson. Centering attempt knocked away by Hammond. He'll play it up to Crosby on the near wing, and now Colton Ryan through center and into the Bengal zone. Spins away from center into the corner, tied up there. Peary in to help out. Broken up at center ice by Bruce. Crotty will slide it back across for Lackinen, and Lackinen will turn up ice. Lackinen across center, and will chip it in and then take A little bit of a bump there from Bruce. Bengals playing it along the back end board. Jordan Center sends it ahead for Stone Stetzel. Stetzel into the zone, snaps his shot, turned away with the stick by Hansen. Cardinals through center. Anderson tried to drop it off, had Tyler George with him. I got tangled up. Bengals trying to turn it back the other way. Reinerson will play it in deep and then recovered off the end board by Stetzel. Centering attempt broken up. Zach Thompson with it behind the net. Thompson ahead to George. George will just flip it in and head to the bench. Earn turns away, back up ice on the left wing. Cross ice pass is well behind Cal Chester through center. Thompson in his own end off the boards for Morissette. Plays it back off the boards. Hess sweeps it to Ruff, who puts it in and then pushes off on Earn. Played behind the net. Out front, an opportunity for Ruff on the doorstep. And a good job staying with that puck and keeping it in his trapper for Joe Danninger.
Yeah, I mean, Cardinals with a great chance out front, and unfortunately they couldn't connect on it, but Danninger makes sure he kept control of that puck, but a good feed out in front of the net.
Well, and he bailed out his main defenseman. Earn was a little lazy coming back to cover Ruff, and that puck comes right to him on the doorstep. And he had to make not one but two saves in close to keep the Bengals in front on the scoreboard. Hess pinned to the boards by Bruce. That one off the heel of the stick for Ruff, and going the other way is Steve West. West into the zone, getting around Ammon, forced behind the net. Looks back to the point. Bruce back down low in the skates of Brodzinski and played out to center by Hess. Skips off the stick of West into the corner. West ties up there with Jake Van Holzen. Poked at. Brodzinski comes away with it. Tried to go short angle top shelf. Earn trying to center. Brodzinski hands it off. A jammed at by West. Brodzinski has it again. The net came off its moorings. And we'll have a face-off at the Coon Rapids end. Little less than 4 minutes have been played here in the second period. The Bengals with that 2-1 lead.
Yeah, putting a little pressure in on Coon Rapids' net as they're trying to see if they can get a goal here and go up by 2 again.
Off the draw, Bouch settles the bouncing puck. Earn will swing it around. Thompson first one there, pressured by Bouch in the corner. Knocked down at center by Reinerson. Taken away by Peary. Handed off to Ryan. Knocked off his stick. Peary's shot blocked by Earn. Peary tied up in the corner by Earn. Poked at by Hillman. Puck comes free. Ryan has it behind the net. Out to the point. Thompson shoots. Not sure if that got through, but it ended. If it did, it was a save by Danninger, and puck ends up in the corner. Played behind by Crosby. Earn ahead for Bouch. Bouch will send it into the zone. Thompson right back out all the way down, and that's right on net, so no icing.
Yeah, fortunate situation that he was fortunately able to keep it in, so Danninger would have to make a play on it.
Not necessarily, because they may have been wanting to get that whistle to get a change.
Well, that could be.
And the Bengals able to get possession right back in their end pretty quickly. Off the back end boards, Bouch out to the point. Bruce will send it back in deep, especially here in the second period. Long change, that long shift. Boy, that bench gets further and further away, stuck in your defensive end. Michael Crosby with it. Will chip it out to center. It's fired right back in by Jordan Center.
Well, now we're getting a couple of changes here. One for the Cardinals, couple for the Bengals.
Oh, the Bengals can pretty much change at will with it. Tied up in their offensive zone. Knocked down by Thompson. He's able to poke it free. But then the shot right in on by Ulan. And the save by Hansen.
And physical. This has been a physical game for them. In a number of instances, little physical play right there. Is a little pushing and shoving.
A little bit of a size difference too.
Yeah, Earn is a big young man.
Lincoln Earn. And Peary is not a particularly
No.
big kid. Shot from the point by Earn, turned away with the blocker of Hansen. Tied up in the far corner, poked free now by Crotty. He'll play it across off the skates of Morissette into the Bengals end. Chop back to the line by Ron, but it skipped off the shin pads of Stetzel and stayed in the zone. Ron behind his own net, across for Earn, looks up ice, now carries, and will skate to center. Flips in on the backhand, glove down by Lackinen, played back out to center. Bengals will recover just inside their own end, right back up the far side to Ulan, who gets it into the Coon Rapids end, but in offside. And a face-off coming up just outside the blue line.
Not a lot of activity by either squad in terms of shots on net. 19 total for the game for the Bengals and 14 for the Cardinals. So 4 apiece here in the second period.
Bengals able to win the draw. Good steal by Ryan, knocking that puck out of midair. Plays it back in deep. Bruce kicks it along ahead for Olsen. Cardinals able to hold and play it back in deep. Swung around near side. Ammon will jam it back in. Ryan pokes it free to the corner and tracks it down. Poked at by Olsen. Tied up along that back end boards. Brodzinski finally got it free to West. West fanned on that pass. Peary broke it up, but Brodzinski recovers for the Bengals. Into the zone, a shot saved with the shoulder. And the rebound ends up behind the net. Swept along the near boards. Bengals hold it in, deflected, bounced around, and turned away with a pad save by Ty Hansen. Bengals with the numbers down low. Turnaround shot by Olsen, glanced off Hansen. It ended up in the far corner. Ernie cross. Ron will just chip it behind where West recovers in the far corner. Back door, Ron trying to go back across, and it was just out of the reach of Olsen. Bengals starting to look like they're on the power play here with this possession. One-timer off the crossbar for Nate Olsen.
Yeah, you talk about pressure. They're doing a good job of keeping it in the Cardinal zone.
Well, keeping possession just so huge. Brodzinski trying to walk out of the corner, top of the circle. Shot deflected, ends up in the near corner now. Poked it back down behind where Olsen recovers. Ron, a shot from the point, deflected, a save by Hansen, another one, and he was able to get his glove on it. Play continues behind the net, puck comes free out front, and finally chipped out to neutral ice. Quickly recovered by Earn, and Earn heads back up ice, winds, fires, and scores over the blocker of Ty Hansen.
Yeah, again, the Cardinals just tried to clear that pressure from the net. They got it over the blue line, but give credit to Lincoln Earn. Boy, I'll tell you, he shot a bomb in there and put it past Ty Hansen. Makes it a 3-1 lead for the Bengals. And you knew, Joe, with you talked about constant pressure like that and control of the puck, it's going to pay off. And then he just blasted that shot past Hansen for the goal.
Well, and Earn has 3 points in the game. I'm not sure if he scored the first one or if it was deflected before it went through the legs, but he definitely scored this one. That one should go in the books as number 20, Lincoln Earn, unassisted. They say it is his second goal of the game, so he did get the first one. And unassisted is the way it's called.
Yeah.
Good call, referee. Is Pete Larkin here?
He must be, because whenever there's a good call, it's always Pete Larkin.
Crotty circles the zone. The pass skipped out off the stick of Thompson. Cardinals chip it back in. Hillman able to carry out to center. Bengals at the line, 3-on-3. A shot up over the cage. Recovered near side by Bruce and played back in and around. Lackinen sweeps it on the backhand ahead out of the reach of Anderson and turned back into the zone by Earn. One drawback doing games here, it's nearly impossible to see that corner when the fans are excited in the stands.
Yeah, standing up.
That one just played in on Danninger, he leaves it there for Earn, and Earn will skate to center. Far corner, swept back behind. Lackinen ahead for Ruff. Ruff challenged, and it is taken away by Stone Stetzel. Dylan Ron right through center, and then lifts it up into the far corner. Shot turned away by Hansen. Eriksson will play it around. Lackinen fires it, and that's not going to get it out of the zone. Blaine again establishing this possession almost like a power play and just keeping the Cardinals pinned in here for the last couple of minutes. Increasing their lead to 3-1. Quick regroup just inside their own zone. Pass broken up by Hess and turned around, but Bruce will recover again at his own blue line. Cross ice pass right to the tape of Cole Olsen. Cal Chester, excuse me, wrong roster. Plays it in deep, now played out by Hess, glove down by Sinner, and Sinner will play it back in on Hansen. Ammon chips it to the boards, recovers, and now plays it up and out. And Bruce will keep it out of the Bengals zone and then get it right back from Stetzel. Near side for West. West into the zone, winds, fires, misses wide. Off the carom, it's Earn playing it towards center, broken up and played all the way down by Lackinen for an icing call and a face-off of the Cardinal end. 5:34 in the second period.
Really about the 10-minute mark, Joe, I thought the Bengals kind of turned it up a notch and put so much pressure in on the Cardinal net in their zone. And they haven't let up since that, so they felt an opportunity to take an advantage, and they didn't get that 2-goal lead.
Quick shot off the faceoff, turned away by Hansen. Ammon. And that's going to be icing again.
And the Cardinals defensively just trying to do anything they can to get the puck out of their zone. Get a little a breather and a little pressure off.
West out to the point. Ron will swing it in down low. Skipped away from Olsen. Cardinals recover and skate to center. Peary bumped off it. Bengals turn it the other way. West into the zone. Goes wide around Lackinen. Down deep into the corner and around behind. Centering pass taken away by Michael Crosby. Crosby played it all the way down. Icing waved off. And Ron just fires it ahead, and here's Brodzinski walking in, tried to toe drag, tipped away by Thompson, and now the battle continues into the corner. West able to come away with it for the Bengals, out to the point. Bruce back to West, skipped off his stick, dives and pokes it back to the corner. Crotty has it for the Cardinals, and will retreat, and now pinched to the boards by Brodzinski, picked up by Olsen. Olsen out into the high slot. That pass just behind Reinerson as he was coming in fresh off the bench. Long pass doesn't quite click, just out of the reach of Max Bouch, and that'll be icing and a face-off back in the Bengal end.
Yeah, good thought there, trying to spring Bouch. Bouch had a step, but the pass just a little bit too much.
Bengals win the draw, quickly flip it out and all the way down. We'll try it again.
Bengals now with 25 shots on goal. Cardinals 15, so a 10-5 advantage so far for the Bengals here in period number 2. So getting a little more pressure in on Ty Hansen.
Hillman excused from the faceoff dot. It's okay. Reinerson comes in and wins it for the Bengals. Bengals trying to break out far side. Pass didn't click, but the puck played all the way down. Ammon chased behind his own net by Reinerson. And now we'll sweep it near side for Fish, who's pressured by Hillman. Back to Ammon. Far side is Knapp. Ahead for Tyler George. He sends it for Fish, and Fish not able to catch up with it, but still battles in the corner with Olsen. George recovers, sending it out to the line, knocked down out of the air by Erickson. Recovered by Bruce walking in. His shot off the post and up and out of play.
Oh, they've hit the post, the crossbar a couple of times. Taking another look at the shot there, going off the post. Again, getting pressure in on Hansen.
Coon Rapids able to win the draw. Lackinen fires it around. Morissette couldn't control, and it ends up all the way down. Icing waved off. Rons pushes it along. Ulan left it there, and a big hit by Lackinen as he took out Olsen, and now the Cardinals going to get a penalty as Stone Stetzel ended up in the back of the net.
Oh, trying to keep that pressure off the net, and then a little bit extra hit there, pushing Stetzel into the net. Going to draw the 2 minutes. Again, using good speed to get around the corner.
Good hit right there by Lackinen.
Yep,
and then
that was a good hit.
Stetzel continues, gets up from that one,
there
and then goes
right
out
there.
front.
Yeah.
And Hess going to go. Not sure what they're going to call it, but it was away from the puck, and it was into the net, and because the players had made contact with the net, I don't think that should change the call.
They're discussing it.
But
No
they're
question.
definitely discussing whether this is going to end up more than just a 2-minute penalty, which again is what killed the Cardinals first time they played Blaine. Had a couple of majors, and the Bengals had 6 power play goals.
Yeah, at this point they can't afford to give up another goal. Up by 2 are the Bengals. Head coach Chris Carroll
did not need to be down.
See it again, I believe. Frame by frame.
By frame.
By frame. There you see the push from behind, and officials making the call. We're going to resume action. See what they put up on.
Well, they have not put anything up on the board, and they're going to discuss it with both coaches before they do, which makes me think that it's going to be more than 2 minutes.
I think so,
and
too.
the discussion on the Coon Rapids side of the bench is a little more animated from the coach, telling me it probably isn't going his way.
No, and one of your better players in the box for an extended period of time, certainly when you're playing from behind, you want those guys on the ice.
Major penalty. That hurts. That'll put the Cardinals on the defensive for the remainder of the second, and a little short of 2 minutes into the third period. And does that also carry with it a misconduct penalty?
Not sure.
I did not see anyone come over to serve the penalty, but that's not real necessary when you have a 5-minute penalty, because no one's leaving the box anyhow. But could not
it's hard to hear. Yeah, it's hard to understand
the announcer as far as what that call was, but either way, it's a 5-minute power play. Backdoor look for Fish, and he just couldn't pull the trigger. Spinning with it is Brodzinski. Back down low. Got away from West, but he stays with it. Near side, Hillman back down low. West gets it back to Hillman. Up top, earn a shot. That puck still rolling around in there, and now Hansen able to cover.
Yeah, very, very dangerous, in the Bengals fighting for that opportunity to poke it home. Hansen's going to bring it in, make sure that he'll force the face-off.
Oh, they're going to say man in the crease. We're going.
Wow.
I don't know how you call that man in the crease. Puck was in the crease. But this face-off's going all the way down to the other end. Face-off win by Ryan, and Crosby's shot didn't miss that upper corner by much. Danninger didn't see it through traffic. This one played all the way down on the Blaine keeper. Left behind the net where it's scooped up by Mick Reinerson. Olsen across near side. Bruce will fire it into the far corner. First one there is Lackinen, fanned on the clear attempt, recovered by Reinerson. His pass deflected, shot through traffic by Bruce, and it went off his shin pad into the corner. Back out to Bruce. To Ron, back to Bruce. Shoots and scores.
Well, the power play goals continue.
1:46 remain in this second period, and the lead is 3.
And again, that's a nice little cushion for the Bengals to increase this lead to 4-1 with 1:46 remaining in the period, and still Cardinals, the skaters short. Taking a look again, getting behind Ty Hansen.
Yeah, and Hansen probably didn't really see that lot of traffic in front of the net. Brodzinski trying to walk through a couple of guys to get right back there off the faceoff. Pushed back in behind. Thompson off the boards. Earn can't stop it at the blue line. Hillman will skate behind his own net. And now up the right wing. Circles. Sets up to Earn at the point. Down low, and West just misses wide.
Oh, another great opportunity for the Bengals. Just camp up to the side of that net.
Bouch tried to go upstairs and sent it out of play.
28-16 shot advantage for the Bengals here with 1:06 remaining in the second period.
Poke free off the draw. Brodzinski will recover back in his own net. Brodzinski through center. Top of the circles. Peels away. Leaves it back for Hillman. And now Earn sweeps it across, and there's Brodzinski. Now to Earn. Room to walk in, and he does. Down low. Hillman to Brodzinski, and a goal.
Again, they work the puck around so well. Brodzinski's turn to get a goal here. 5-1 now lead for the Bengals. And again, we talked about that. I think they at the 10-minute mark of that second period, they just stepped it up a notch, really controlled the action, and they really haven't looked back since. Again, a nice give cross ice from Hillman to Brodzinski, and makes it count.
Walking right through the high slot. That's prime scoring territory. Under 30 seconds remaining in the period as it's played all the way down by Brad Crotty. Bengals have ballooned the lead to 5-1 with 2 goals here in this on this major penalty to Travis Hess. And they will still have just a little less than 2 minutes to capitalize on this long power play when the game resumes in the third period. But they are going to have a healthy lead going to the locker room this time around. Blaine up 5-1. We'll hear from the coaches right after this on CTN.
To Maddie, congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
How'd you manage that anyway?
I started tracking my spending, changed a couple of habits.
Wow, I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now. I don't even know how I'm doing it.
Well, have you tried saving a little?
I want to, but where's that money gonna come from? Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
Not home.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Welcome back to the Champlin Ice Forum, where you're watching CTN's presentation of 5AA Section High School Boys Hockey Playoffs. The score after 2 is 5-1 in favor of the Bengals from Blaine. I'm here with Chris Carroll, head coach for the Bengals. Coach, nice first period, got a couple of power play goals. Second period, I thought about the 10-minute mark, you guys stepped it up a notch and really controlled the hockey game down in their end. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think that explains it pretty well, and that's really what we wanted to do, you know, in playoff hockey. We want zone time down there. We want to keep pucks below their line, and certainly good things happen when you get some zone time down there, and I thought our kids stayed with that and did a good job with it.
With a 4-goal lead going into the third, what's your message to the kids when you go back and talk to them?
You know, it's the same thing, the message that we had before the first and after the first. It's, you know, one period at a time. You know, so we got 3 periods here today, and we take them with that. So we got 17 minutes regardless of the score. Certainly to continue to grow in our base, our structure, be more consistent with it, and certainly have something to step on and lean on heading into Saturday night.
Thanks for your time, Coach. Good luck in the third. We're going to take a quick break. Back with second half period stats and highlights right after this.
Looking for a new home? Come to Coon Rapids. Down payment assistance is available from the Mortgage Assistance Foundation when you purchase your new home with an FHA 203K mortgage. Any single-family home in need of renovation or rehab can qualify. Find out more today. Call 763-767-6422 or visit the city's website.
We love our new home.
Back at the Ice Forum in Champlin, and that Blaine power play has helped them open up a big lead going to the third period of this Section 5 AA quarterfinal. Not a lot going on through the majority of that period, but then after keeping the Cardinals boxed in, Ern got frustrated and just hammered one home with a slap shot, and then the major penalty called late in the period on Travis Hess. Bengals have cashed in on that power play twice already, and they still have a minute and 53 seconds remaining in that advantage when they start the third period. 4 power play goals so far for the Bengals tonight.
Oh, you look at the Bengals out shooting the Cardinals 29-16, although our official scoreboard has 33-18. Nonetheless, they are controlling this game, and it's an interesting situation for the Bengals. I mean, I think they're a team that may be peaking at the right time. Obviously, they want to come out here and dominate because they feel that they have an opportunity to win this section.
Well, there, as the number 3 seed, there's a couple of teams seated above them in Maple Grove and Centennial, but some quality clubs always in this corner of the Metro, and some of the best competition you'll see throughout the state.
No question about it. It would not surprise me, though, if they took this section. I think obviously Maple Grove's got to be the favorite, but nothing would surprise me in the Northwest Suburban teams in this section.
Well, we'll see if the Cardinals are able to make a push and make this one interesting at the end, or if the Bengals are able to play it out and head for the semifinal round. The third period of this Section 5 AA quarterfinal coming up next on CTN.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Back at the Champlin Ice Forum, ready for period number 3. The Blaine Bengals in complete control now. 4 of their 5 goals coming on the power play, 2 of them on the current power play of a major penalty to Cardinal captain Travis Hess. So they have the minute 53 here to score as many more as they can before their power play night stops being perfect.
And you look. We talked to Coach Carroll, and obviously pretty pleased with where his squad is, and felt that they've done a nice job of controlling the action here so far tonight.
Off the draw, Ernie peels away from the pressure by Ryan. Here's Bouch into the zone, leaves it off the board. Brodzinski for Ern. Across, Hillman back to Brodzinski, skipped under his stick. And he'll have to circle again. Back across, Hillman, backdoor, West scores.
And made that look pretty
21
easy.
seconds in.
Made that look pretty easy. A good puck movement really led to that goal, and just West right at the side of the goal puts that one home.
Make their power play 5 for 5.
Well, they were 6 for 6 last time. 5
well, no,
for 5.
I don't think they were perfect. They had 6 power play goals.
I'm sorry, 6 power play goals, correct.
And now 5 here tonight, right?
Yep.
And it's now 6-1. There we go. We got the board. We got it up there. And still another just under 90 seconds to try and add to it. You can't finish perfect on the power play when you have a major penalty, but you can really boost those numbers,
well,
and that's what the Bengals are doing right here. 5 of their 6 coming on the power play and moving it well with the advantage. Ron looking down low, fanning on the shot was Olsen, ends up behind the net. Olsen recovers. Shot off the post and up out of play.
Yeah, no question they are peppering Ty Hansen.
I'm a little confused. The Blaine Bengals already have 5 shots on goal in this period? I don't think so. There's a deflection in front and it just misses wide.
No, they had 33 on when they started this period on the clock.
Oh, then they updated it after I had looked. Okay. Shot through traffic, deflected wide. 20 seconds remain on the power play. Pass deflected down into the corner, swept back up to Ron. Across, Bruce deflected off the side of the cage. Coming out is Olsen. He shot that through traffic, and again it goes wide, and Hess finally freed. This one deflected in on Hansen, and he'll hold on.
Yeah, they do such a nice job on their power play.
You give them that major, they score 3.
Yep.
And now 5 for 6 on the power play this evening.
Not bad. You're gonna win games when you play like that.
Morissette ahead to Ruff through center. Stops up at the hash mark. His shot deflected by Ern, ends up behind the net. Morissette sweeps it back to Hess. Hess out front. Ruff, his shot turned away by Danninger. Again out front, Crotty a blast, and that ended up going wide, and Danninger didn't know where it was, and then Hess tried to get it in on a short angle and sent it out of play instead. And the net ended up.
And the net was off.
Coming off its moorings.
Well, Bengals now out shooting the Cardinals 2-1.
You'd think with this far into the game we'd have seen more than 3 shots on goal.
Yeah.
Get it? 2-1.
I get it.
Yeah. Just messing with you, Shapiro, keeping you on your toes.
Let's see, 3 carry the 2. Yeah, you're right.
14-23 to play here in period number 3. Shot attempt is blocked, and off to the races is Olsen. Olsen in, 2-on-1, shoots, glove save, Ty Hansen.
Oh, he had a trailer as well, but took the shot. Hansen able to glove it. Forced that face off to his right. Taking a look, able to get past the Cardinal skater, and it's going to take it himself. Quick snapshot, gloved by Hansen.
Brodzinski out of the corner, his shot, kick save, up over the glass, out of play. Bouch shot turned away with a toe of Hansen. Crosby at center will flip it in deep for the Cardinals, and a penalty coming up here for the Blaine Bengals. Crosby was taken into the boards after the dump.
Call it on Reinerson.
Call it for the elbow.
Yep. See it again, you're going to see where the penalty
throws the
occurred.
elbow a little bit. Bengals able to win the draw, play it behind. Earn looks up ice. Able to get it ahead to Ullin, who was able to play it all the way down. Crotty will recover behind his own net for Morissette. Morissette ahead off the stick of Ruff. Puck poked in deep. Ernie will turn and play it all the way back down.
So leave you at that little
best
bit
way to kill a penalty, keep the puck 200 feet from your net.
Absolutely.
Crotty up the far boards. Squeezed off, turns it over, and right back down the ice. It's set by Ullin.
Just a smart play. Again, just to get that opportunity to get the puck. Make sure just continue to clear it. Take that penalty time off.
Thompson ahead into the skates of Ruff at the blue line. He takes it in. Bumped by Ron, who recovers, tried to play behind, but Hess will control for the Cardinals. Knocked off his stick, poked away, but kept in by Lankinen. Lankinen will get it back. Chips it to the boards. Morissette trying to center, poked away. Came back to Crosby. Here's Crosby at the top. Shot through traffic is saved by Daninger.
A little bit of pressure that time for the Cardinals. Did get the shot on goal, but see it again, working the puck across, and there's the opportunity.
Cards win the draw. Played to Lankinen. Lankinen shoots. That's blocked. Bruce tried to chip it ahead. That was knocked away by Ammon. Out front, a deflection by Peary. Goes up and over the cage. Ryan along the boards. Will circle and send it back into the corner. Gets it back from Peary. Now hands off out to Lankinen up top. Crosby will shoot, blocker save, rebound. Played to the boards by Bruce, recovered by West. And just like that, the Bengals have killed it off. A couple of shots on the power play. Now real great chances for the Cardinals. The Bengals right back to controlling in the Bengals zone. Great cross-ice pass. Ernie couldn't handle it. Brodzinski swept it behind and then sidesteps the check attempt from Lankinen. Racing onto it, Colton Ryan, and Ryan will skate through center. Ryan fans on the shot. Bruce will play it around far side, out of the reach of Reinerson all the way down, and the Cardinals had touched it, so icing waved off. Colton Ryan near side. Deflects all the way down that. I'm not sure how icing was waved off on that one, but apparently the rest just want to let him play. That pass just out of the reach of Ernie. He'll carry it into the zone ahead, deflected in on Hansen and turned away. Bengals able to play it back in deep. Chance in close for Chester. Played back to the corner by the Cardinals.
The Cardinals can't get the puck out of their zone. Good job by the Bengals just keeping it in there.
Ball kicks it, and it went past George. Gone out to center and turned right back in deep by Dylan Ron. Sorry.
Donald, his brother.
Sent in deep by Chester, stopped up by Hanson behind. Back to the near corner where George will skate up ice. And
there's the icing.
That's icing.
Yep.
He thought Morissette was going to break harder for the boards and tried to spring him, but it's not how it worked. 10:01 to play here in the third. Bengals on top by 5.
A healthy lead for the Blaine Bengals. That power play goal early in the third period, up at the 6-1.
Morissette able to poke it free, get into the zone, drop for Ruff. A big shoulder save by Daniger. Another chance, and Hess finishes with the goal to cut the lead to 4.
Hess cleaned it up in front, again, get shot in on Daniger with a long rebound coming out. Hess able to poke it home. Good job playing in front of the net. Didn't waste any time putting it back through the past Daniger. See it again.
Initial shot by Ruff, and the
big rebound.
Save with the elbow. Big rebound, chopped at, and went right back to Travis Hess. And he had a lot of net to look at. Bengals put it right back into the Coon Rapids end, and the Cardinals able to break out. Crotty will fire it into the far corner. Again, lost as to what's happening in that corner. I can only imagine.
Make it up.
Earned behind his own net, tipped away by Ruff, chopped at by Hess. Earn loses an edge, ends up on the ice. We've got a penalty coming, and it's going to go against Earn for pulling Hess down along with him. And the Cardinals back to the power play.
Well, 9:06 remaining, so there's time left in this contest. They definitely have to be able to put the puck home here on this skater advantage. I want to try and 4 goals back. It's a long hole to dig out of, or a deep hole, I should say.
I think it's long and deep.
It's definitely no question.
4 goals, a big deficit in the third period. Hillman able to force his way all the way to the other end before it's turned away by Thompson. Sent back in deep by Jordan Sinner. Lackinen will set up behind his own net. Colton Ryan. Clearing attempt is good all the way back down to the Coon Rapids end. We saw that last power play. Cardinals only a couple of shots.
Yep.
And had to retreat to get that puck a couple of different times. Bengals again force a turnover. And a good player given space is going to find a lane to send that the length of the ice every time.
No question. Icing on the Cardinals. We'll bring the face-off to the right of Hanson.
Just 57 seconds remaining on the power play. Crotty circles to the corner. Pressured a little by Brodzinski. Gets it ahead out of the reach of Ruff. And back in his own end is Sinner. Sinner waits and now sends it down. Tipped away from Thompson, and Thompson will wait and recover. Brodzinski not going to try and pressure a whole lot, but going to keep his presence in there and make sure that they don't make any mistakes. Almost forced a turnover right there.
Really a nice penalty kill for the Bengals here. Been able to clear the puck down, not give the Cardinals any opportunities.
Shot through traffic, deflected away last second by Ron. I think his goaltender would have made the save. There wasn't a ton on it after the deflection through traffic, but Ron swept it away, made sure it didn't even get in on goal, and 0 shots on goal for that power play for the Cardinals.
Yeah, solid defensive effort from the Bengals.
Brodzinski, backhand save made, rebound West, goal.
Getting that puck coming out in front of the net. And West's eyes got big. Realized he had the opportunity for his second goal of the game. That makes it 7-2 in favor of the Bengals. And a nice job by Brzezinski to get the initial shot on, and then West, with Hansen on the ice, able to put it up and over.
Look at how much traffic goes to that one player. 3 players, 2 following him behind the net when he no longer has the puck.
You hope it always works out that way.
No, you hope that never happens.
Well, for the Bengals, obviously, you don't hope defensively. You hope it doesn't happen.
And that's off the moorings on the one-time attempt by Stone Stetzel. But yeah, it just drives me crazy to see 3 players suck to 1.
Yep.
He puts a shot on that none of those 3 players was able to stop. And the rebound, so that means the goaltender really took care of the puck carrier. Yep. The rebound goes to a guy who one of those 3 guys was supposed to be in charge of.
No question.
And he has an open look at an empty net with a rebound. And you certainly, after he plays it on the net, you can't circle around behind the net with him.
No.
You're not doing yourself or your team any good. Yeah, Tyler George just laid the lumber to Stone Stetzel in the corner, and Stetzel may not know which county he's in. No penalty is called. The Bengal fans are letting the Roughs hear it. There's another look at it.
That was a big hit.
Bigger kid finding smaller kid in bad position, and
it's okay.
Not sure that it was necessarily a penalty, but definitely a big hit.
Could have been called.
It's easy to see. Yep. I think it's a good no call, but I could see it being called as well. Looks like Stetzel's okay over on the bench,
and that's the main thing.
Hey, it's hockey.
Yep, tough. Hockey players are tough.
Got to be.
Yep.
Bengals able to win the draw. Bruce loses the handle. It has to track it down back in his own end. Hillman avoids a check from Ammon. 3-on-1 at the line for the Bengals. Just out of the reach of Bouch out front. Ryan to Ammon ahead for Crosby, trying to split the defenders, and he's tied up. And corralling that one is the netminder, Joe Danninger.
Yeah, Cardinals haven't been able to muster very much offense here in the third period. Got the goal, but other than that, they haven't had a lot of chances.
Bengals again with speed. Bouch, another opportunity out front that just bounces off of his stick the wrong way. Earn lost the handle and now challenged by Hammond. It's poked out to center where it's swept back in deep by Hillman. Hammond ahead, Ruff deflects, it's up and out of play. And we'll have a face-off just outside the Blaine zone.
Yeah, the Bengal student section had a look out. Puck was flying right towards them.
Oh, they're going to put it out at center.
Yeah.
A little less than 5 minutes left in the Cardinals season, barring a miracle. Down by 5 to the Blaine Bengals. Here's another one headed out of play.
It was a can of corn.
There it goes. I was thinking maybe this time the fan said, no, I get a souvenir.
That's right,
I had to pay, and then I bought a program, and it doesn't even have all the players in it.
That's right. They charged me for that program.
Wouldn't even give one of those inaccurate programs to the television crew.
I had to beg, borrow, and steal to get a couple. And those are copies, the photocopies.
Which we do appreciate.
Absolutely, no question.
The effort of the Champlin Park Ice Forum staff. Hess able to poke it back into the zone. Bruce will skate back in behind his own net, and now Bengals trying to break it out near side, play it off the boards out to center. Brodzinski had it chopped off his stick. Olsen sweeps it into the zone for the Bengals. They have to wait for Brodzinski to clear. Now Crotty to Thompson. Thompson was looking for Hess, who has already turned toward the bench. Bengals back in with numbers again. Brodzinski to Olsen, tried to turn it on net and missed wide. Out of the far corner, Wyatt Ball into the zone. Trying to get around Ron, and he's pinched along the end boards, and Bengals will try to do it again. West at center. Brodzinski way in offside. And a faceoff outside the zone with 3:28 left.
Yeah, he realized he was offside, tried to see if he could pull himself back.
This one squirts out front, a little backhand turned in, but Hansen was aware. Earned the blast from the point, misses and ends up wide. Kept it at the far side by Ron. Ullin leaves it behind. Cal Vold out to the point. Shot through traffic, and Hansen just went down, said, I got to get in position, and that's what it was. He was able to make the save, never saw that puck. Earn backs out into the corner, up top for Ron, down low to the far side, skips away from Ullin, who's now able to recover. Chester can't center. Vold swoops in on it. Vold chips it to Chester behind. Chester carries to the corner, pressured, nearly cuffs it up, but recovered by Vold, who has it behind the net. Out to the point for Earn. Earn walking in, snapshot up over the net. Ron will keep it in on the far side, just push it into the corner. Swept behind by Chester. Vold will circle back behind again and now leave it behind for Chester. Chester trying to walk out. Turns his shot and it ends up in the far corner. Ron off the boards. Down in low again. Tries to pass back short side. Loose puck out front, finally covered by Hansen. And that'll get a whistle as the Cardinals once again found themselves boxed up desperately in their own end, just trying to get a stick on the puck until Hansen finally able to bail them out by getting the whistle.
Well, you talked about it earlier. They're 5-on-5, but it looks like the Bengals are on the power play. They're just controlling that action down in the Cardinal end, and Cardinals baffled, trying to find a way to get it out and clear some pressure.
Hillman will circle into the corner, step around Lackinen, and now we'll play it back into that far corner. Lackinen wins the race to it and plays it up the boards for Colton Ryan. Ryan chips it ahead over the stick of Peary. Peary out down low, tried to wrap around, but ready for it was Danninger. Lackinen sends it back in down to the final 90 seconds of this section quarterfinal, and Blaine has iced the puck.
Yeah, it's been total domination by the Bengals here. You have to be impressed with their style of play and their ability to control the puck and really score and take advantages of opportunities. When they've had 4 power play goals, 5 power play goals tonight. And you take advantage of the mistakes that the other squad gives you, and it made the Cardinals pay.
Vold able to move it ahead. Stetzel, a shot, misses high and wide. Kept in on the far side by Houck. Centering pass at the side of the net. Cardinals push it ahead. Morissette can't control. Slow it at center as we're under a minute remaining.
Student section, the Blaine student section has a lot to celebrate. They're excited here tonight.
Well, and they're going to have a big matchup coming up on Saturday. Most likely the number 2 seed Maple Grove Crimson. And again, you're going to end up with a semifinal round in this section where any one of those is a team that should be able to go and compete.
No question.
At a state tournament.
No question.
Brodzinski in, chipped away by Crotty and escorted to the boards, and then Brodzinski gives him a little hook, a little push, and this one's all over as we tick down to the final 3. Quick shot by Brodzinski is stopped, and the buzzer will sound, and the Blaine Bengals are going to the semifinals.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting the rest of the way in this section to see who comes out on top. And yeah, as you mentioned, there's a number of good teams. You've got Centennial, you got Maple Grove, and of course this Blaine Bengals squad. And really, you know, it's an opportunity for any one of those squads to be able to advance. Head coach Chris Carroll is pretty happy about the way his squad played. And the Cardinals, as you mentioned earlier, their season will end.
Well, and it's a tough way for it to end. They had played so well down the stretch. Like I think their last 4 losses all by a single goal, a couple of them in overtime in the final week of the regular season.
Yep.
They were so close to having a much better looking record, but definitely took a step in the right direction this season.
No question. They've had 2 games with the Bengals, identical scores, both contests, 7-2. In the first one, 7-2 here. And so, you know, certainly the Bengals showing that they have the Cardinals' number this season.
And that is going to do it for our hockey season here in the 2016-17 school year, our final hockey game of the year here on CTN. And we wish all of the competitors in Section 5AA the best of luck the rest of the way. But that is going to do it for this edition of CTN Sports. Again, the final score from the Ice Forum. It's Blaine 7, Coon Rapids 2. Want to thank everybody out there for joining us, continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young, saying good night.